Hello, all my tiger streaks out there today. Sorry I'm a little bit late. It's hard when you're getting ready for a show and you have 1,001 things to do. Where are all my tiger streaks today? Hello, all my tiger streaks. I know you thought that I wasn't coming. Oh, but I am here. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you all. Today is July 11th, Thursday, for another episode of In the Cage with the Tigress. Yes, it is episode 10 for us, and thank you for all of my viewers that come every week diligently to watch the show. I am just always so grateful to those that have taken an hour out of their schedule to spend some time with me and talk over different topics. So it's an exciting weekend that we have going on this weekend. I'm always coming to you from a different place. Today I happen to be coming to you from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I have been enjoying myself here on the beach, taking in the sun, getting in my base tan for Saturday's show. So, got my little cute outfit on because I am contest ready, and I love being contest ready because my clothes fit so nice. So hello everybody there. Please flex. I hope you enjoy that. So again, today is Thursday, July 11th. And again, this is our 10th episode of In the Cage with the Tigress. And again, I'm so happy that everybody is here to join for another episode. This, per se, was a three-part series or three-part segment called Getting Your Sexy Back. And this is the last of the 3 parts. And we're going to be wrapping up the 3 parts today. How to get your sexy back, and in this segment we're talking about how it's a state of mind, but that state of mind being mind, body, and soul all together to make the total complete makeover of getting your sexy back. And so I want to just talk to you about ways. I've always referred back to what I had to go through in my journey as far as the topic is concerned, getting your sexy back, how I went about doing that. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so last week we were talking about, I was in Chicago last week, and last week we were talking about what was your definition, what do you consider to be a strong woman, and what do you consider to be a beautiful woman? And so I talked to different people in the streets and got their definition of that. And it was very interesting to hear what each person, both men and women, felt, what they thought was, what they thought to be beautiful, what they thought to be what a strong woman was, and so, or is. And so this week we're going to have somewhat of an encore performance because I'm going to be bringing in all 3 of the episodes together and just touching base on everything that we learned over the 3 weeks that we have been going over this. And so this week we're going to be talking again about body transformation. Again, body transformation, speaking in terms of mind, body, and soul, because so many times we just want to focus on one thing and not the others. Just like in bodybuilding, people often say to me, oh, well, isn't the diet the most important thing? And yes, that is true, that the diet is very important, but you can't neglect doing the training, you know what I mean, because you're going to have a different result. You can't neglect getting the rest, because you would have a different result. So it's the same thing in body transformation, and the sense of getting your sexy back. It's more than just a physical thing. And this is what I've learned in the decade of being on this journey, that it is more than just a physical thing. While it does look good, you do, when you look in the mirror and you see what you've accomplished, it does give you a really good feeling that, wow, I did that. And but it's an even better feeling when you know that you've accomplished something. 1, 2, you feel good in the skin that you've accomplished it in. And 3, you got the mindset a strong mindset to go with the physical outwardness of what's going on in your body. You know what I mean? You got a strong mind, a strong body, and a strong spirit within. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, that total package of having the full thing, the full getting your sexy back package. Alrighty, so moving on. Okay, we got a few stops left on this my tour schedule. And I just want to go over some of those real quick with you today in case anybody was looking to book any sessions with me. I will be, I'm here in Virginia Beach now. Today is my last day here. I'm going to be heading over to North Fork tomorrow. For those that are in the area, I would appreciate your support, not just for me, but for all of the Iron Sisters that have worked so hard to bring you this artwork on the stage and to present it to you guys and girls to appreciate and see the hard work that we have done. So if you're in the area of Norfolk or Virginia Beach, stop on by. We're going to be at the Harrison Opera House in Norfolk Saturday. All of the Iron Sisters will be there. There will be other divisions competing as well, but I support the Iron Sisters. That's who I represent, the bodybuilders, and so we will be up on stage Saturday, and I hope that you will be there or can be there in person to join. Your support is always, always, always appreciated when you can come out physically and support us during those events. And so again, I mentioned some stops that I'm going to be making after Norfolk before I make my trip, leave the country. So anybody who wants to meet with the Tigress, you have a few more chances to do that here on the East Coast. My next stop will be Arlington, Virginia, D.C. area, July 15th and 17th. Then I'll be stopping at Baltimore, Maryland from July 18th and 19th. I'll be back in New York City for a couple of days, July 20th to the 23rd, before heading to Miami, my favorite place. I'll be there from the 24th through the 30th. And then my last stop here in the U.S. will be Tampa, July 31st through August 4th. After the 4th, I won't be taking any more appointments here in the U.S. for the summer because I will be leaving probably that first week in August to go to Germany. And I'll be making other stops in Europe as well. So those followers and clients that want to book an appointment in Europe, go ahead and hit me up in the DM, and or email me at missmusclegoddess@aol.com if you are looking to book a session with me. All right, I have some shout outs before we get started on today's show that I would like to announce. So as I mentioned last week, we had the Chicago Pro in Chicago, Tinley's Park area. And congratulations to my Iron Sister, Alicia Young, who won the show. She looked fabulous on stage. Good going, girl. You look great on Saturday. Congratulations, and I'm glad that you will be up on that Phoenix stage giving them hell. So I hope to be up there with you too. My chance will be on Saturday, so hopefully I will be on stage in Phoenix with the other Iron Sisters as well if I have that opportunity. So we shall see if the judges feel the same way. That all of you guys feel like you say, oh, you look fabulous, and let's just hope that the judges feel the same way. All I can do is bring my best to the stage and hope that I make you guys proud, whatever place that I place, and make myself proud that I was able to come from behind the 8 ball this year. Boy, talk about starting training late this year. I really started my training late. And to be able to catch up and to be able to be ready to do a couple of the shows this year, I'm really proud of myself because as of a few weeks ago, I was looking like I was a little bit pregnant there. I also want to shout out to a newcomer, one of our newcomers, our new Iron Sisters also, who competed in Chicago the past weekend, Christina Mendoza. She is one of our newest Iron Sisters to join the elite group of ladies. She won her pro card at the Chicago Pro Show in the Miss International. She won her pro card to now become Wings of Strength Iron Sister. Congratulations, Christine. I'm so proud of you, and I hope to be able to compete with you on stage as well. You look great as well, and congratulations again on your win. Welcome to the sisterhood. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we can't forget Linda Mary and her presenting this show for us this weekend. What I love about Linda Mary, and I hope that other sisters that once they retire from bodybuilding, that they will also find it in their hearts to do the same thing, and is to provide a stage for us women bodybuilders to be able to present our artwork on. And so Linda Mary is one of those individuals that herself was an 8-time Miss Olympia champion, and now is retired and is our ambassador of the sport. But she also reaches back and make sure that those that are still competing also have the opportunity to be able to do so on a stage. And so she provides one of those stages in the qualification shows that we do to get ready for the Phoenix. So thank you, Linda, for providing that stage for us girls to be able to compete on, where there are so many stages that don't allow us. So thank you again for that. You're wonderful for that. Alrighty, let's see here. So, I wanted to talk about some special encounters that I have been having. And the Uber and Lyft cars, particularly when I was in Chicago. And I was in Chicago, I think my first or second day there. I was in Chicago. I arrived kind of early before Saturday of the show. And I did a Lyft share ride because I wanted to go down to the beach. And so the driver picked up these two other girls when I was in the car. And normally I just say hi, or sometimes I don't even say anything to the other passengers that may get in the car. But in this particular trip, the driver and the other two passengers, we all got to talking. But what we got to talking about was just so uplifting for me, because I feel that it is the very path that I am on. And to meet two other women that share the same vision that I have. And what vision is that? The vision of women can do whatever the fuck they want to do. And they can do it, and they can be whoever they want to be and be proud of it. And so we got to talking about that stuff in the car, and it was like women's empowerment all up in the car. It was fantastic. So my new friends, and also my new Tiger Streaks, Diana Rivera, who lives in Chicago, and also Tracy Knowles, who lives in Jersey City. These were the other two passengers in the car where we were like, woman power all the way. But what I wanted to say about one of the girls, Tracy Knowles, that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, is that Tracy said that she is doing a project. And I thought that the project was so interesting that I had to bring it to my women viewers today. And what the project is that Tracy is doing, that I wanted to bring to you and give you the information, so that in case you wanted to take part in it, that you can also, because I know that once the competition dies down and I have a little downtime, I too am also going to participate in this project that she's doing. So the name of her project is, let's see here. Tracy's doing a project that, it's called Unapologetic Woman. That's the name of the project. And you can find it on unapologeticwoman.com, or you can email her at unapologeticwoman@gmail.com. So you may ask, well, what is the project? And so I'm going to read from the text that she gave me. These are her words, okay? And so, it is a testimony. It's a testimonial liberation project for women to unapologize. I'll say it again. It's a testimonial liberation project for women to unapologize. You notice how us women, when we go around, and if you haven't noticed it, I want you to take notice. Even as a female, if you do it yourself, because sometimes I notice I do it. you just walking around and you might do something and for no reason at all you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or you know, somebody might pass you or something like that, or you might, I'm not going to say bump into someone because then maybe you should say sorry. But I'm just saying, as a female, we find that ourselves, we say sorry about everything. Even stuff that we don't even, it's like I have to ask myself, why did I just say sorry about that? Why am I sorry? Like, as a female, we've been conditioned to have to do that. So in her words, she says, we always walk around saying we are sorry because we have been conditioned to think that we are second-class citizens. This is about her project. When women write down, I am not sorry for, when they write it down, what they're not sorry for, they participate in their own personal liberation. I found that to be interesting because, yeah, a lot of things that you do write down and get out of your system, you do feel better about. And so, yeah, I said, yeah, I definitely want to partake in that. And so she says to about the project, after you write down what you're not apologetic about, ladies, she's going to take a photograph of you, and then she's going to take a photograph. Then as they were, hold on, I don't have my glasses, that's why I can't see. After they write it, she will take a photograph. Then as their new unapologetic selves, and then share it to inspire and embody other women. So she's going to take your story that you wrote and take a picture of you and put it up on her site. I did check the site out, and there's a lot of other women that have submitted their unapologetic stories. And I know one of the things that I'm going to put down as far as what I'm unapologetic about. I'm unapologetic about being a diesel ass bitch. No apologies. To all the guys that say girls are not supposed to have muscles, I tell the guys, well, you don't have muscles, so does that make you my bitch then? You guys better watch how you talk to us muscle girls out in the street. You might get hurt. So again, if you are looking, ladies, to take part in that project, I found that it was very interesting. And I hope that you do visit her site. Again, the site is called unapologeticwoman.com. Or you can email her directly at unapologeticwoman at gmail.com if you want to partake in that project. I know, again, I will be doing it. It sounds like something that's interesting, and it sounds like something that can bring women together, and I think that's something that we all need. I think that women are too much in competition with each other and not in a community that is uplifting to one another. And so anytime that I see another female, another sister that's trying to uplift another female or another group of females, I'm all for it. So we are all in this together as a village, and we're a village of women that help each other, and that's what I am here for, to be here to share and hope that you can share with me as well. It's not just one-sided. Alrighty. So moving on, we have a few questions from some of our viewers. And I thought that I would entertain some of those questions because I thought they were quite interesting questions, being that the competition is Saturday. And so some of those questions that I did get in was, I have 3 questions here. Why do I like to compete was one question. Why do I suffer for the sport so much? Good question. And why do I do this to my body in reference to dieting and suffering before a show? These are really good questions, I thought, because, with the competition coming up Saturday, these are things that quite a few people ask me about all the time. And sometimes when I'm going through the pain and suffering, I often ask myself the question, why am I doing this? But to answer the first question, why do I like to compete? I like to compete mainly, I think the main reason I like to compete because it is a stage for me to be able to showcase my artwork. I work very hard in the gym twice a day, sometimes 6 days a week. And when I create this masterpiece, especially when I am in the diet down process, When I'm in a diet down process like I am now and I'm dropping water, then I can truly see all the work that I've put in. You can't quite see everything when you're off season because you have you have the layer of off season fat and stuff on you, so you can't quite see everything that you want like you can see when you are totally shredded. And so I like to compete because it's a way that I can showcase my artwork to people that can enjoy what we do in our sport as far as showing our physique. But one of the other reasons, I just like being an athlete. I've always liked being an athlete ever since high school. I played volleyball in high school and I played gymnastics in high school, and it was always a certain kind of respect that athletes got. And I like that respect. And it always seemed like athletes were cut from a different cloth. Like we can deal with pain differently, and we can will ourselves to do things that like the average person can't do. And I just admire that about an athlete, which I am, and I find that I'm able to do those things, and people are like, wow, you're like a superwoman. I don't think I'm a superwoman. I just think that I have the mind of an athlete, and I think that a mind of an athlete is set in such a way that you can lock in and get focused down on something, and you don't let go until you accomplish that. And so that's my mindset, and that's what makes me an elite athlete. And so I compete because of those reasons. I get enjoyment out of it. I don't do anything that I don't enjoy in my life. The other question was, why do I suffer for this sport so much? I suffer for the sport because I think in my heart, I feel that it is a dying sport, and I feel that one person can change the world. I've always felt like that from the day that I entered into the sport. The day that I entered into the sport and decided that I wanted to do bodybuilding, even then back in 2008, there was talk of dropping women's bodybuilding. Even then, before I even did my first show, they would talk about, oh, women's bodybuilding, they're getting rid of women's bodybuilding. That was a decade ago, and we're still here. And not only are we still here, but we're getting bigger. Each time that I do a show, there's more and more girls that are on stage, where before I started doing shows, I would look at the numbers of the pro girls that were on stage, and there was like 8 girls, 7 girls at a show, 6 girls at a show. And so now I arrive at a show like at the Chicago show, there was like 15, 16 girls on the show. When I did the Chicago show, there was 23 girls on stage. And so the numbers are picking up, and new girls are getting their cards all the time. And so I suffer for the sport because I want to see the sport continue on even when I finish competing, because the sport in and of itself has done so much for me physically, my self-esteem, how I look at myself, how I carry myself, how I feel about myself, and the ability to be able to transfer what I do in the gym as far as focus and the determination into my real life. This is what the sport has taught me, and so I suffer for it because those that want to get into the sport, as a female, I want to encourage them to do that as well, and let them know that there is a safe place for you to feel welcome and accepted. And so if I can do that it's worth suffering for, to be able to keep it on stage. And so I am one of those unsolicited ambassadors. And the last question: why do I do this to my body? Dieting and suffering before a show. Well, if I could get past the cramping and some of the stuff that goes along with getting ready for a show, I would electively do that. Some people cramp, and some people's body go through things before a show, and some people's body doesn't. My body happens to not like the dehydration process. I can go through everything else, the dried chicken, for days on end, the broccoli, out the ass. I can do all of that, but when it comes to dropping that water, my body just draws the line and says, nah, we're not doing it, and it just starts cramping up all over the place. But I do it again because the athlete in me feels like I can push through anything, any pain, any suffering, and the amount of sacrifice that I've already put into it. You don't give up just because you got a leg cramp. You push through it. Like you did your training all the way up until the time you got on stage, those days that it was snowing, those days that you didn't feel good, those days that you wanted to go see your grandkids but you couldn't. All of the sacrifices that you've made, you're making it because you think that, one, you're going to make the sport better, and that you're going to grow in the sport whichever way that it takes you, and that you're doing something positive. And I think that's why anybody makes any sacrifice, because in some ways they think that it's worth it to them. And so while I have made a lot of sacrifices, particularly with family and personal life, as I look back, they have been sacrifices, but they have been sacrifices that I think have been worth it, because the sacrifices that I've made to be on stage and to have this body has opened up a number of doors for me that would not have been open had I not made the sacrifice. So sometimes you have to make sacrifices in order to get to the next step in your journey. So now let's get to today's show. Good, we're good on time. After I talked y'all half to death. So we're talking about getting your sexy back. And again, I always refer back to my personal story, because again, what else do I have to refer to? Because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist. I always tell you this before a show. But I do have personal experiences, and I think that they are valuable. And one of the things that, again, that people tend to always ask me, whether it be women in the locker room or people on the street, is, you know, what propelled me or what propelled me to lose the weight, and how did I stay the course, and what kind of things did I do to be able to not fall off the wagon. And so there's not one or two simple answers for that, and it's hard for me to really explain in detail what it is that I did in my personal behind my doors to be able to get past some of the things that I was struggling with. You know, when you embark on a journey to upgrade yourself, when you embark on a journey to lose weight or to transform your body, because it's not always necessarily losing weight. Some people want to put mass on. And so whichever way you're going, you know, people always ask me, how did I get from point A to point B? And one of the things in my journey that I had talked to you about in this series was, before I can even embark on this journey back in 2008, when I sat on the edge of my bed and I said, oh my God, my stomach is almost halfway to my knees when I sit down. You know, how did it get to this point? And I remember looking in the mirror, and I remember how disgusted I was. I remember how angry I was. I remember just how I felt like I had just let myself down. And like a friendship, like if you did your best friend wrong, or if you did your spouse or your boyfriend or whatever wrong, you know what I mean? You can sit there and say, oh, well, we broke up because, or we didn't get along, or we went our ways because this, you know, he did this or she did this, and they did this and they did that, and that's why the relationship didn't work. But not at all do you sit and you turn and you look at yourself and say, okay, but what part in that relationship did I have to make it go bad? And so I had to look at myself almost as a different person. You know what I mean? When I looked in the mirror, I'm looking at my reflection, but I'm looking at I'm talking to the inner person of myself, and I'm saying, you know, I'm really sorry. I had to apologize to myself in order to, I had to forgive myself. That's what I had to do. I had to forgive myself in order for me to be able to even embark on this journey and say, yeah, I'm going to upgrade myself. I'm going to get my sexy back. So for all of you that are trying to get your sexy back, I'm letting you know, for me, and it may be for you too, that you may have to start with looking at yourself in the mirror, and first asking yourself for forgiveness for your part in what made the relationship between you and yourself. You know, you say me, myself, and I. What caused the deterioration of that? what part did you have in that? And so I had to ask myself, what part did I have in the deterioration of the partnership that I had with my body? Because I felt like we were in two different places. Like my body was doing totally different things that I didn't want it doing. I was a prisoner of my own body, I used to say. I felt like I was a prisoner of my own body, and my body was the warden. My body would be like, yeah, okay, lights out. You can't do this. You can't climb no steps. No. You can't run there. This is my body like treating me like I'm a prisoner. And so like I really had to look at myself and say, wow, what did I do? What part did I have in this relationship? You know what I'm saying? Did I take accountability for what I put in my mouth? Or am I still blaming my 25, 20, 28, and 27 and 29-year-old kids for my belly fat? You know how your girls do. When I ask y'all in the locker room, when you say, oh, this is baby fat. And you say, oh, really? When did you have your baby? Congratulations. And they'll say, oh, my baby just graduated from college. Now, you know, you need to stop blaming them kids on that baby fat. I'm just saying, taking accountability for what you did to your own body. Because nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying, eat this pizza, eat that Taco Bell, eat that chocolate, eat that cookie at 3 a.m. Nobody's making you do that. You have to take accountability for what you're doing, even if it's your boyfriend or your mate sitting next to the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning while you're watching the ID channel eating cookies. You have to make that decision and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I love myself too much to hurt myself. And so I had to start thinking of myself as, what I had to do is I had to change perspective. After asking myself for forgiveness, after making amends with myself, after allowing myself to feel the hurt, feel the disappointment, because I didn't like what I saw. I looked in the mirror, I was like, damn, man, I really fucked up. Stomach way out here, love handles all hanging over the clothes. You know, I'm like, wow, man, you used to be like a gymnast. You used to be like volleyball. You used to be so in shape. Look what you did. And so I had to let all of that disappointment go. I'm telling you what I had to do. This is maybe not something you want to do, and I'm saying this is what I did. People are always asking me, well, what did you do to get started? This is what I had to do to get started, to get my sexy back. And so I had to look myself in, and you know what, Tisha? I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. I'm so sorry for letting you down. I'm so sorry for not taking care of you the way that I'm supposed to take care of you. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? I asked my body that. Can you just forgive me? Can we start over? Just like I would do a friend if I realize that I fucked up in a friendship, then I have to bite the ego and go to that friend and say, you know what, Sally, Sue, John, Joe, I really messed up. You know, back then when this happened and that happened, you know, I shouldn't have did this and I shouldn't have did. I'm really sorry. That's what a true friend would do. You know what I mean? A friend that, you know, really feels that the friendship is worth keeping and is valuable will go back and apologize and try to make amends and make it right. So that's what I did to myself in the mirror. And so one of the things that I had to do in addition to forgiving myself was change perspective. What do I mean by that, changing my perspective? I had to change how I was looking at myself, because even though I forgave myself, and even though I said, Tisha, you know what, I forgive you for fucking me up. You got me looking all crazy looking, but I'm going to forgive you if you get your shit right. And so, you know, just because you have that talk with yourself, you don't just look in the mirror and say, oh, I look beautiful now. It is a process, because even though I forgave myself, I still looked in the mirror and was just like, ugh, I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. You know what I mean? And so what I had to do was I had to change perspective. And so what I did was I created in my head, I'm showing you a prop, like a baby. You remember the baby from the other week? My company that I had, for those that saw that episode. This is the baby. Yes, this is the baby. And so people would ask, well, what's the baby? I tell this to people that come and train with me when I train on one-on-one, when I used to train one-on-one. I used to say, you have to think of yourself as the baby. Even if you don't have a baby, you know you got to take care of a baby real gentle. You don't just fling the baby around by their feet and just throw them a piece of food and expect them to eat it. You got to take care of the baby real careful. And just like when the doctor hands you the baby in the hospital after you have the baby, the doctor says or the nurse says, okay, you got to feed this baby every 2 to 3 hours, okay? And so guess what, girls and boys? That never changes. You still got to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Did you know that? Yes, just like the baby. So I had to start thinking of myself in this term. And I started to look at myself like I was the baby. Like the physical body, I was the baby. And so just like a baby, just like I have 3 kids, when I had my first child, there was nothing that I didn't read. All the ingredients of the baby food and stuff like that, I wanted to make sure that it was all natural, and that everything that I fed the baby was natural, and it wasn't junk, no, not too much sugar, no, everything is supposed to be where it's supposed to be. I'm nurturing the baby, making sure that the baby grows, making sure that the baby is healthy. I make sure that I feed it every 2 to 3 hours. I make sure that the baby gets his rest. Sounds familiar? Yeah. Make sure that the baby, why? So the baby can grow and be healthy. And so I'm saying to myself, if I can treat myself like I treated my own kids, I might be able to do this. I might just be able to love myself again. If I look at myself like I'm a baby. And so I started looking at the baby like, these are my hopes. This is what it represented to me. These are my hopes. This baby represented my dreams. This baby represented my goals. This is it. And how I was going to take care of my dreams, my goals. I'm going to take care of it just like a baby. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping y'all are getting this, because this is how I embarked on my journey. It's hard to explain this in a locker room. When people ask me, well, how did you get from point A to point B? I got there by changing my perspective of how I looked at myself. How I got from 300 pounds to 150 pounds a day that I stood on stage the first day that I ever stood on stage. I hit my goal the same day, 150 pounds. I had 2 goals for myself. One was to initially lose 100 pounds, and one was to go back to my high school weight of 150 pounds. I did it the day that I stepped out on the stage for the first time. Why? Because I took care of the baby. I nourished the baby. I make sure that the baby was taken care of and fed, and made sure that the baby got a lot of exercise, and made sure that no harm came to the baby. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have it out all weird hours of the night. I didn't wake up at 8 in the morning and didn't feed the baby till 4. Sounds familiar? I'm just saying, you know how we go all day without eating. But think about this. This is what I tell my clients. If you had a baby and you went all day without feeding the baby, what would that be considered? Neglect, wouldn't it? Abuse, wouldn't it? Now think about yourself and how it coincides. Remember how I told you got to eat every 2 to 3 hours? Would you eat maybe once or twice a day? But you talking about body transformation? I'm telling you, it starts with how you see yourself first, because if you are not going to love yourself, you are not going to take care of yourself. But if you change perspective in how you see yourself, like I had to change perspective and see myself as a baby. Because if I saw myself as a baby, I'm going to love the baby. I'm going to take care of the baby. I'm going to make sure that the baby eats. I'm going to make sure that the baby exercises, because these are all the things that help a baby to grow strong. And that's what I want. I want this new body that I'm starting to create. I want it to be strong, and I want it to be healthy, and that was part of my transformation. That was part of how I got my sexy back. I had to change my perspective and how I saw myself, because how I was seeing myself, I didn't like. I hated what I looked. I hated the image that was reflected back to me in the mirror. But what I began to start doing, I started to change my perspective, and then I started saying, just like a little kid, if you have a child that's born and the child has a little defect or a little blemish here, we don't throw the kid back and say, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with our bodies. If we have something that may be a little blemish or something that's on our body that we don't like, we don't totally say, oh, I hate my whole body. But what I began to do is I began to take things that I did like about my body. I used to like my legs, you know what I mean? Because even when I was 300 pounds, my legs still were very lean. I've always had lean legs. My legs stay like this all year. Too bad my abs don't. That would be nice. So I would focus on the things that I really did like. I like my legs and how they look. There was other things about my body that I liked. I liked my ass and different things like that. And so I would focus on the things that I liked and worked on the things that I didn't like until they got to the point where I did like them, like my abs and parts of my arms and different things like that I didn't care too much for. And so it's like a poison ivy. It spreads. You know, you like one area, and then before you know, you start liking all the areas, because as you begin to start loving yourself more and taking care of yourself more, you begin to love everything about you. And so until you can get to that point in your life, I found that you can't even move forward. There is no getting your sexy back if you don't love yourself. You got to love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself, you don't love nobody around you. You're going to be hating on everybody. You know why? Because I know. I can speak from where I came from. When I was 300 pounds, I was hating on every skinny bitch out there. I was like, she thinks she all that. She ain't nothing. Looking like a damn toothpick. She looked like she needed to eat a hamburger or a hot dog or something. This was my frame of mind. And so when people come at me like that, I already know where it's coming from. You hating yourself. You're hating yourself because you're not motivated to action. You're not motivating yourself to be able to get up off your ass and do something about your situation. So you rather hate on somebody else that did have the ambition to do it. And so I recognize that when I see it very quickly. But another important thing for me, and part of getting my sexy back in that transformation as far as forgiving myself, was affirmations. Telling myself things in the mirror every single day when I woke up. Because if you say something enough times, you're going to believe it. Like, you ever heard, if you tell yourself a lie enough, you're going to believe it? Well, I believe if you tell yourself the truth enough, you're going to believe it, even if you don't believe it at first. Or even if other people are telling you something about yourself that you can't quite see in yourself. Because that's been happening to me for quite a bit. Like, this past decade, people have been telling me different things about myself, and I couldn't see it. You know, if I had a magnifying glass, I couldn't see it until I came back from Europe. And then I was able for the first time to feel comfortable in my skin, love myself totally, and appreciate what I myself has created. And so it wasn't until that point, like I said, of loving myself, totally loving myself unconditionally. That's the key word, unconditionally, because again, there's always going to be some part of your body that you're not going to like and different things like that, but that doesn't mean you throw away the whole body. You know what I mean? You work on the parts that you don't like, and you still appreciate those areas that you do, because there's somewhere on your body something that you like. Even if it's your toenail, then you damn, I got the best damn toenails in the world. I don't care if the rest of your body's jacked up. You love them toes until they get up to your ankles and your leg and the rest of your body. And the next thing you know, you're going around the street talking about, yeah, I got my sexy back. You know what I mean? It's a process, and it does not happen overnight. Although for some, it may happen quicker than others. But, you know, it depends on how much work you put into it, because you got to put the work in or you get nowhere. Okay, so affirmation, telling yourself things like, I love you. You know, telling yourself that I love you. You are worth it today. You are beautiful today. Do you know that you are special? Do you know that you have something special to bring to the world today? Even if it's just your smile. Even if it's somebody just told me, you made my day because of your smile, then that's what makes you special. It's your smile then. Or, you know, you made me laugh today. It could be something like that. It doesn't always have to be a physical thing, but something, an attribute that you have that that can be looked upon as special or beautiful, that makes your character. Because we get caught up in today's society that thinking everything is always physical, but you can have a banging body, can be a real bitch inside. So it's best that if you're going to do a total makeover and you're going to get your sexy back, that you get your sexy back working the inside out. Work on the inside first, because the inside always is going to shine brighter than the physical appearance. Like I said, you can look beautiful on the outside and then open your mouth and people go, oh my God, can you just be quiet? Can you just stand there? You look so beautiful just standing there. Just be quiet, don't open your mouth. You don't want to be one of those people, okay? So affirmations, I think that were very important to me, because especially for a person that is coming from a low self-esteem background, somebody who was coming from was a very shy person, someone who was afraid to assert herself. I just found that oh, I lost my please. I found that in the journey that I have, the affirmations that I would tell myself, they would strengthen me and help me to believe in myself more, because the more that you tell yourself, the more you do believe in it. Yeah, I am smart. Yes, I am beautiful. Yeah, I am worthy today. I am special. You know what I mean? I do belong here. You know what I mean? For a long time when I competed, my first few years of competing, I always felt like I didn't belong on stage. I always felt like I wasn't worthy enough to be on stage. I don't know why, but I always felt that way. And other people were like, wow, you look fantastic. You look wonderful. But until you can see that for yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else is telling you. They could be speaking another language as far as it's concerned. You have to believe that for yourself when you're talking transformation. No one can do the transformation for you. No one can tell you that you look beautiful, that you look special, that you are special, that you do have something worthy to bring to the table. Nobody can do that but you. But what other people can do is to bring out those qualities in you. And so, let's see here. Moving on, talking about diet and exercise. We talked about the mind and about getting our sexy back, and then diet and exercise. And one of the things that I found, again, in my journey, people ask me all the time about body transformation. Well, how did you do it? Again, it is true. It does have a lot to do with food. So as you decide to upgrade yourself, that's what we're going to say. We're trying to upgrade ourselves and getting our sexy back, whatever that may mean to you, because it could mean something. It could mean something different for each person. Because again, I asked last week, what was your definition of what a beautiful woman was, or what a strong woman was, and it was different definitions. There wasn't one definition. And so, like I said, in diet and exercise, that's not one way that you approach diet and exercise, but the main thing that I want to get across is that you get yourself active, that you motivate yourself to action, because it doesn't work until you work it. Clients used to come to me when I did personal training one-on-one, and it was like they wanted me to sprinkle pixie dust over their head and say, bam, there you go. Now you're ready to do your thing now. You don't even need to pick up a weight. You got to do the work. And body transformation, what I learned and what I'm trying to share with you guys is that it is not all physical. I put up on one of the my stories that sexiness is a state of mind. You know what I mean? It's how you feel, it's how you carry yourself, it's how you think about yourself. It's not just the physical appearance, but it's everything all together. Just like when I present myself on stage, it's just not one thing that I did to get to this point. It's several things that have been done, from cutting the calories back, to taking the carbs out, to taking the water out, to adjusting the cardio, to changing up the training, thing. It's a whole bunch of series of things to bring you the total package. And it's the same thing with getting your sexy back. It's a number of things that you do to get your sexy back. It's not just putting on an outfit, and it's not just fixing your hair and putting makeup on. It's the total package. It's how you, it's where you're coming from, your mindset. It's how you carry yourself on the outside, but it's coming from within. It's the type of person you are and the beautiful character that you are. And can you acknowledge your own qualities, your own uniqueness? That's what makes you a sexy person. That's what brings, in my opinion, that's what brings the sexiness out in a person, when they can acknowledge and bring out their own unique qualities within them, and they're not trying to be like this person over here or that person over there. I think a person that is unique, that's what makes a person sexy. That's what makes a person attractive. And not just physically, but just as a being, a human being, somebody that you want to be around. You could just feel their presence and their energy emanating from them. You know what I mean? It's just so strong that comes from them, the positiveness. And that's what you want when you are talking about transforming your body, when you're talking about, upgrading yourself. Don't let it just be a physical thing, because like I said, I've seen a lot of good-looking men and women in my day. As soon as they open up their mouth, it's just like, ooh, wow, can you just keep it quiet over there? Just stand there like a mannequin. You look so much better just standing there like a mannequin. So, yes. But one of the things, as far as diet and nutrition, I had to have a plan. And so for many of you, you may be like, oh, but I can't afford a trainer and different things like that. But when your life is on the line, if you can afford to go out to the movies, you can afford to get your nails done, you can afford a whole bunch of bullshit, that $1,000 Gucci purse that you carrying around on your shoulder, but yet you got a herniated disc because you 50 pounds overweight. I'm just saying, put things in perspective as far as order of importance. And so when I was embarking on my journey, one of the things that I put at the top of the list, along with food, rent, electric, it was like personal trainer was right up there with like the top 5 of my bills. It wasn't at the bottom of the list, because again, like a baby, when I brought my baby home for the first time, I didn't wait to go get the diapers and the milk and the stuff like that. When I brought the baby home, I prepared myself to bring the baby home. And so if in this journey, you're going to have to prepare yourself too, in your mind first in your mind, by saying to yourself, okay, body, this is where we at. This is me. This is where we at. I love you. I fucked up. I ask that you forgive me. Where can we pick up? How can we move forward? That you're talking to your body like this. And so, like, until you can have that first discussion with your body and say, you know what? I'm taking responsibility and accountability for what I did. I was a lazy ass. I ate whatever I wanted to eat. And now this is where it has gotten me. And I'm not blaming anybody else, not the kids, not the job, not anything, because no one has a gun to my head that's making me not, that's making me eat bad things or not exercise. So in that total body in that total body transformation, you want to make sure that you have a plan, because without a plan, basically you're walking around in circles. I see people in the gym do it all the time. They want to cherry pick their workout. Oh, I guess I'll do the dumbbell today. Oh, I guess I'll try to work this machine. I don't know how it works, but okay. This is what I see in the gym. But you want to embark on this journey. You have to prepare yourself. And so, in these steps, I'm hoping that you can get something out of it. Like I said, my journey, it's been one of many, and I'm hoping that my story can help you along, especially if you are embarking. Summertime is here. Everybody's thinking about weight and weight loss and different things of that nature. And I'm hoping that I can encourage you while you're sitting here and you're watching this, and you can say, you know what, if she did it, mother of 3, grandmother of soon-to-be 7 grandchildren. I'm 48, will be 49 this November. And I'm just saying, it can be done. I spoke to another guy in the lift, and he was like, oh, your body is fantastic, he says to me. And I say to him, one of these crazy encounters again in the car, he says, but it's too late for me though, I wish I could have a body like that, but it's just too late for me. And I said, why? Why is it too late for you? How, why you say that? He says, oh, because I'm 38, 39 now. And I'm like, really? I said, because I didn't even start until I was 38. I'm 40, I'm 49, I'll be 49. And, I started a decade ago, and he was just, and then I got to telling him, that age thing, you got to throw that out the window. That's an excuse that you're using. I said, you got to throw that out the window, because if you're physically able to do it and you got the time, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have the time, fucking make the time. It's your body, for God's sake. You got one body. We act like we can fucking go to, excuse my language, we act like we can go to the store and just pick up a damn body on the way home from work. You got one body. How dare you say, to hell with the exercise today. I'll do that next year or next Monday. You got one body. Don't wait until the doctor tells you you got cancer, you got diabetes, you got high blood pressure, you got something that you probably can't get rid of, or it's going to be hard to get rid of because of the weight now. I got damaged knees because of that. I got arthritis in both of my knees now that I feel like, if I could kick myself, I would, because damn, if I could have lost the weight early, I wouldn't have these issues with my knees now. And I'm telling you now, I have to have surgery on them. I got torn meniscuses on the side and everything, and it all comes from being overweight. And I'm telling you, you can prevent those things from happening. Freaking prevent them. Don't wait until the doctor tells you to do this. You have power over your body, and that's what you asked me the question why I like bodybuilding. I like bodybuilding because it shows me that I have power and control over this body, over this temple. This is my body, and I have control over how I want it to look, and you do too. This is not how you look right now. It's not just some, throw my hands up in the air because I'm 30, 40, 50 now. There's no point in even going forward. No, make the plan. Make out a plan, and if you don't know where to make the plan, go to places like bodybuilders.com in order to be able to find a plan until you get able to find a trainer that is on the same page as you and has the same goals in mind to help you to reach your goals. And so that's my encouragement to you. I want to motivate you to action. Motivate you to get up off your ass and stop making complaints and excuses of why you can't do it. I'm too old. It's too late. I got 3 kids. I got 4 kids. I got 2 jobs. Yes, that may all be so. But again, it boils down to, can you pick up another body after work? No. So you need to make the time if you want a true transformation. So, that's all I can tell you. What I went through myself, changed my perspective, forgave myself, made a plan, stuck to the plan, and even when I fell off the wagon, guess what? Got back on until I achieved those goals because I surrounded myself with people to help me to stay on board and encourage me to stay the course. So you do the same. Watch the friends that you hang around because they could be the very people that sabotage you or are keeping you from hitting your goal. And sometimes those sabotagers can be people in your own family. I'm just saying, watch the people that whisper in your ear. So that concludes another episode of In the Cage with the Tigress. I know we only have a few minutes. I talked y'all half to death. I'm going to go and see who was joining on today. I see Philip is here. Hello, Philip. That is my Germany crew. And Sil. Hello, Sil. Love all you guys. Eddie. Oh my goodness, I have such good people here today. Keep touching yourself like that. I told you this is a clean show. If you want that type of stuff, you got to go to a different site, okay? I'll flex a little bit for you. Saturday, I will be on stage. I want all of my Tiger Streak support, so don't be telling me you had to do something else. I'll come after you. And you don't want the Tigress coming after you. And I thank you all that are my fans and followers. And again, if you wish to send any donations, and I have received a few donations. One donation paid for my Pro card, and so he sent $250 for that. And if you would like to send a donation, please send it either to a Cash App or Google Pay or Venmo using my email address, TishaThomas@gmail. It doesn't have to be $250, but if you do want to send money to help me out in these competitions, in the competition season, I have this show and the Tampa Pro to go, and possibly the Phoenix Pro. You are more than I'm more than appreciative if you can send a deposit. It could be $1. I got 10,000 followers, so if even one of y'all sent $1, man, that would set me up again for at least 2 contest seasons, at least. So if you do want to donate, again, your donations are always welcome, and your donations go directly towards what you are sending for. So if you're sending for a plane ticket or a hotel room, it will go directly towards that. And if you send me your email, I will happily send you a nice 8x10 signed picture in the pose that you would like for your donations. Okay, let's see here. We got 28 seconds remaining. I love all you guys. And please join me next week for another episode of In the Cage with the Tigress, where we're going to be talking about friendship and love. And so, if you have anything to add to that, I would love for you to send in any suggestions about that topic. Mwah. Love you until next time. In the Cage with the Tigress, next Thursday at 6.